Hey guys, today on Watch with Poppy, we are doing a 2012 recap. So I've got all kinds of crazy categories, and I'm going to tell you what I loved about TV this year. Okay, this first category is all about my favorite shows that debuted in 2012. So here we go. Some of my favorites that debuted this year would include Smash. I really enjoy the show Scandal that's on ABC. I would say out of the new shows that debuted this fall, two that stick out to me so far have been Arrow, as well as Nashville, that's on ABC. And then amongst the cable shows, I would say my favorite new show for 2012 has to be The Newsroom. I think Aaron Sorkin is a dialogue genius. Like, he writes dialogue like nobody's business. So I just tune in to listen to the witty banter and the, fast talk, and I just love it. I loved The West Wing, when that was on the air. Such a great show. So The Newsroom definitely goes on this list. So those are my top favorite shows that debuted this year. Okay, now, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I am an avid world traveler, which means that I have friends kind of all over the world, and one of my really good friends, Claire, lives in the UK, and she's always talking to me about television. We always go back and forth about what we're watching. So the next category is inspired by Claire, and it's my favorite shows from across the pond. If I had a good British accent, I would do this category in that, but it kind of comes and goes, and it's not that great, so we won't do that. Let's talk about these two shows, though. So the first show I'm going to talk about is the BBC show Sherlock, which stars Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman, and it is just so good. I know there's now this, CBS show, Elementary, which I've seen, and it is good, but it's just not as good as Sherlock, you guys. There are 2 seasons so far, and they've just been fantastic. The other show from across the pond that my friend Claire nagged me about until I started watching it is Downton Abbey. I just started watching it. I'm only a few episodes in, but it's really good, you guys. Okay, the next category makes me a little sad and actually really a little pissed off, but we won't go there. The next category is shows that I was forced to say goodbye to, mostly because they got canceled. Okay, let's start with the new fall shows. There's only really one new fall show that I was watching that got canceled, and that was ABC's Last Resort. The next 2 shows that I was sad to see go, had good runs, but I still wanted more. The first one is In Plain Sight, which aired on the USA Network. Okay, so the main character in the show is Mary Shannon, who was really just one of the best, sarcastic characters on television. Mary's character basically is a federal marshal who works in the witness protection program. Just a really great show, really great main character, and I was definitely sad to see it go. Okay, and the last show that I was forced to say goodbye to in 2012 is really the one that hurts the most, and that is Eureka. Eureka aired on the Sci-Fi Network for not nearly long enough, and I just love this show. Sheriff Carter was just my fave. I just loved him, and I definitely am gonna miss you, Eureka. I already miss you. Okay, the next category is what I consider the best sequel/spin-off of 2012, and that is Nickelodeon's The Legend of Korra. And I just will say as well, I'm a grown person, and this is a cartoon that's on Nickelodeon, but you guys, it's so good and funny and smart, and I just loved it. This series was really short too. I think it was around 12 episodes. But it did so well that I'm hearing buzz that there's definitely going to be a season 2 for Korra, so I'm very excited. Next category is shows that I gave up on in 2012. The very first show on this list is the sci-fi show Alphas. I liked the first season, and when the second season premiered, I tried to watch it, and it just never caught me. Now, I will say that I've given up on this show for now, but this is a show that I could potentially come back to later if I hear that it gets better. Then the next show in this category is a show that I will not return to because it's just awful, and that is NBC's Revolution. I try to like this show, you guys, and I should like this show. This show should be right up my alley, but I just don't. And I kept telling myself that I should love this show, and I gave this show a really good chance. I watched a good amount of episodes, until finally one night I was watching an episode, and halfway through it I realized I don't care what happens. I could delete this right now and be just fine. And so I did that. I'm not the only one, I think, who feels this way about Revolution. It's such a great premise, you want to love this show, but it's definitely got some flaws. One of those flaws for me was the way they chose to portray the main character, Charlie. You know, when you're carrying a bow and arrow and you're trying to be like badass TV Katniss, but you're crying all the time, that kind of like, yeah, that cancels out the badassness when there's crying. I mean, there could be some crying, because we're people, and everyone cries, but when all she does is cry, it just was just kind of like, I'm just so tired of this character. So, no more Revolution for me. Okay, the next category is my guilty pleasure show of 2012, and there's only one winner in this category, and I'm not ashamed to say that it is Here Comes Honey Boo Boo. They're getting ready to come back with new episodes in January, and I'm very excited about that. I don't know, I just feel like people got way too bent out of shape about the show. I really liked it. You know, people were talking about how Honey Boo Boo was like the downfall of our society, but whatever. The surprise show that I loved in 2012. And this category is kind of about maybe shows that I wasn't expecting to love that I really loved. And that would be my first foray into the whole Korean drama craze. So I've been hearing a lot about Korean dramas, and yeah, I finally kind of gave in and watched my first one. It was called 49 Days, and you guys, it was fantastic. Like, I'm going to do a separate review of that by itself because it was so good and I could just talk about it a lot. So when I heard about it, I just thought, I don't want to watch soap operas in another language. But they're not that! They're so good. It's like so much more than that. But 49 Days would be my kind of unexpected surprise of 2012. Okay guys, so that's what I loved about TV in 2012, and I'm super excited about what's coming in 2013. So what about you guys? I really would love to hear your TV highlights from 2012. Write those down in the comment section below.